This is Jeffrey Crivero, and with me is Dr. Connie Lester, and I'm conducting an oral history interview with Linda Gail Smith Johnson. The interview is being conducted at the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church Community Center in Oviedo, Florida on Tuesday, January 27th, 2025. Ms. Johnson, thanks so much for speaking with us today. If you would, please begin by telling us a little bit about what life was like for you growing up.
Okay, life growing up. It was good. I my parents, my mom and dad were they were very loving people. They were well thought of in the community. I was just telling my sister just a little bit ago that my mother was a school teacher, and when I got to be well, I thought of I thought that people were taking advantage of my mom because she was teaching school, and then she was teaching Sunday school, and then people were coming by the house, wanting this and that, wanting their help, and I said, well, they just leave my mom alone. She works very hard. Why y'all gotta come here? And then coming and seeing my dad, and he's helping people in the community, and I realized that people trusted them, that they were somebody that they knew they could go to get what they needed to have done. And because my mom had the education that she would be able to direct them in the right way, direct them in what they needed to do. And so the older I got, the more I appreciate it. I said, my parents, I said, these people love my mom and dad. And they called my dad Doc, that was his nickname. And that was a sign of how much they appreciated him, that, even though he didn't have that formal education, I think my dad only went to like sixth grade, but it was like Doc. And then Miss Smith in the school system. So I appreciated what the community thought of them, and then they were they didn't take any mess. We it was three of us growing up there. I was the middle with my older brother, Joseph, me, Elliot, my younger brother, and then Judith came along. She was spoiled because she came along 6 years after we were here. But she we just loved. And having, I remember growing up with my mom and dad, we would go to Sunday school, and before we go to Sunday school, my mom would get up and she would we would have breakfast, and then somehow by magic, and she's at Sunday school and church with us, and then we go home and dinner is ready. And I said, when did she fix dinner? But it was just, that's what she did. And then and so we were going to Sunday school, and church was a part of how we grew up. And then my dad would fix dinner on Friday. It was a Friday or Saturday. I think it was on Friday. My dad cooked. He would cook dinner, but the only thing he cooked was scrambled eggs, and so, but he was doing his part. Mom didn't have to cook on that day. Anyway, so it was good. We were blessed. We were blessed.
What were your parents' names?
My dad's name was Joseph Elijah Smith, and they called him Doc, D-O-C-K is how they spelled it. And my mother's name was Gladys Loretta Holmes Smith. So, and then I remember I don't know how she did it. I guess the school is for me. Do what you gotta do. But my mom, my dad had to go to work early at the plant at Nelson and Company, and so she would. I guess he would get up and fix himself a little something. But on her way to school, she would drop off breakfast for him, and she would have a big thermos of coffee and the breakfast sandwich, much better than what you would get going to the restaurant, to the Mickey D's, I guess. And so that was another one of those things that, I said, ooh, by magic. When did she do that? We getting ready for school, Dad's at work, we getting ready for school, and then she fixes his breakfast and takes it down there to him. And then the folks would come, when they would see her coming, they would come out and other workers and grab for coffee for my dad because he would be busy supervising something or other. And it was just wonderful. I don't know, my sister told me that when she got to be, I think she was driving down there and dropping, Mama would I think Mama was dropping her off at school. Anyway, so she was familiar with the routine and everything of getting the breakfast there. And then when my dad would come home for lunch, she would have not breakfast, but dinner, lunch in the you put it on low, and so it would be in the stove. I said, how does she do that? So my parents were good. We were just wonderfully blessed. I do remember when my dad told me that we used to fight a little bit, my brother and I, my younger brother. So one day we got into a little fight. When my dad a neighbor came in, and she said, y'all shouldn't be fighting like that. And my brother, he told her, said, you need to go to your own house. That was like Mrs. Wright was her name. When my daddy came home, Mrs. Wright came over and told my dad what we had done, what my brother had done, and I told him, I said, Daddy, I didn't say anything to her. He said, y'all go over and apologize to her. Daddy, I didn't say anything. And he said, you go over there and make sure that he says it. So he sent both of us over there, and it hurt my little heart because I hadn't said anything. It was my brother that got mouthy. And so we went over and apologized because I think he said to him that he wasn't raising any heathen in his house. So, and it was always my mom would, we got into, it was a problem, my mom would talk to us, and And then she said, I'm gonna tell your dad. Dad would tickle us when he came home, but my mom would just make us cry beforehand by talking to us and said, y'all, that wasn't something y'all should do. So either my dad was making us cry because he'd talk rough to us, or my mom was just talking nice and sweet and making you cry because she was disappointed in you. Alrighty, my time is up now.
Can you tell us a little bit about going to Hungerford?
My mom and dad, they were always very strict. You needed to do your work, get your work done. And so we knew that they strong believer in education. And after finished at Jackson Heights Elementary, high school was the next step. And fortunately, the seniors in the neighborhood, in the community, realized the importance of education, because they're not being afforded an opportunity to get to it. Dad only went to 6th grade, and my mom had to go outside of. I think she was when she finished. Had to go to Tallahassee, but there was the bus that the community had going to Sanford for the Coombs Academy, and at the time that I had finished elementary school, the principal, Mr. Hamilton's daughter, was attending Hungerford, and so I'm not sure how we got there. There was no bus transportation there, and you had to go. Going outside of the county didn't seem to be a concern. We're in Seminole County, going to Orange County. So we, I think that was the year that we had people that were working in, I think they were cleaning, but they were working outside of Oviedo, and so they would drive us. And then they got off from work and they would pick us up and bring us back home. And we, so the process, so she had done it the year before. She was older, 1 year older. And so we continued with that the same year. And my first year of high school. And when they, I think at one point she got they bought her a car. Professor Hamilton, he was a principal of one of the school in Stanford. So we were going to school. And one of those days we coming back home, trying to get from making a left-hand turn on that busy highway. I forget the road going into Eatonville, but we got in an accident, and my mom got in an accident, and the folks coming along and the kids on the bus, and they they saw that we were had been in an accident, and I don't know how the word got back, but fortunately, we survived okay. I don't, it was God's grace, the prayers of my mom and dad that allowed me to get out of that situation. And I don't think nobody was, we were all okay. I don't know if we had any sort of long ranging, anything from the accident. But although we had to go to court because somebody tried to take advantage of the situation. And my dad, who only finished sixth grade, had to go with me to court. And I appreciated my dad being there with me. Mom was at the hospital when she and my sister, because but they were there when I needed them. They were always there, even when I didn't know I needed them. Finished high school. See, that next year, I say no bus transportation, so I'm still going by car. And then the final year of my high school, I was with another student from Oviedo, and we were staying with one of the teachers there, Mrs. Anderson. And bless her heart, she would allow us to come in my mom would take me over there on Sunday. And I would stay there with Mrs. Anderson until my mom picked me up on Friday, and then we would start the process again. But it was just we were just blessed, and so she thought enough of us to let us stay at her house. So I was just blessed. My mom and dad and folks just reaching out just to make it happen. And so, you look back and say, well, gee, did I accomplish all I should have accomplished? They did a lot for me, and then, you kind of want to say that, what did you do with all of those opportunities? And I think, like I said, well, did I do enough? And anyway, you can't relive it too much. You just pass it on to somebody else. So, anyway, maybe she passed it on to me because my son he's got his law degree. He worked for the IRS as an attorney, and at one point, my mom, his sister, likes to say that he was. Anyway, that's another story. But she was just a firm believer in having said, do what you need to do and pass it on. So he's very grateful for his grandmother. I am too. All right then.
That's great. Thank you, Miss Johnson. Appreciate you sharing your time and your story with us.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. This has been Jeffrey Crivero with Dr. Connie Lester on January 27th, 2025.